Hello everyone and welcome to the Big Cat Sanctuary on International Zookeeper Day and also World Animal Day. It's a two-in-one for us. It's a day where we can celebrate our gorgeous animals here at the sanctuary and also the amazing team that look after them. It's going to be quite a busy one today. We're actually collabing with Paradise Wildlife Park, soon to be known Hertfordshire Zoo. We're going to see Keira, our jaguar, first, and then we're going to hand over to Paradise where they're going to see their capybaras. They're then going to hand back over to us to see Sahee, our Asiatic lion, and then we're going to hand back again to see their tapirs. So it's quite a lot to get through today, but we're going to head over now and join Abby, who's looking after Keira today, and is actually going to be conducting a training session. So let's head over now. It's an exciting day though. It's good for us to be able to celebrate all the hard work that the teams do here. And none more so than Abby, who's doing a little bit of station training with Keira today. Hello Abby.
Hello. Touch.
As you can see, the training session has started. So it's going to start with some basic touch training.
Station.
Contact training. Trying to get Keira used to sitting on
Station.
that little board there, which is effectively going to be her
So
station.
Close. Station.
Just going to watch Abby conduct the training session and we're going to ask her some questions just as they get a little bit further through.
Station. Good girl. Station. Touch. Station. Station. Good girl.
If you're enjoying the live, please let us know in the comment section below. As I said, we're shortly going to be handing over to Paradise Wildlife Park to see their capybaras. And then a little bit later, we'll see Sahee, our Asiatic lion.
Station.
And then hand back over to Paradise to see their tapir.
Station. Good girl.
So Abby, it's looking like she's progressing well. Do you mind sort of telling everyone who perhaps hasn't seen this before, sort of what you're working on?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm working on with Keira is I'm trying to encourage her to be a little bit calmer around food. So she's very well trained for the basics like touch target. She's trained for vaccines and all the really basic healthcare stuff. But training can be really beneficial from a behavioural perspective. So she's highly food motivated, as you can see. So when it comes to food, her brain gets a little bit too overexcited. And so that can sometimes come out in a way that's very hyperactive, and especially when we're trying to get her shut in and concentrate and make sure she's where she needs to be for feeding times. The calmer she is, the better. So we're going to try and station train her and see if that helps her understand that if you sit nicely in one place, you'll actually get things a little bit quicker. So it's very early days. This is very much the beginning of her training, and we can hopefully progress this into the house, introduce other keepers to it, and she'll then start to realise that good things come from this rather than good things coming from just us in general.
Excellent. And just for the people at home that perhaps don't know much about Keira and what she's like, do you mind sort of just touching on her personality and why this is actually going to be really, really helpful for her in the long run?
Absolutely. So Keira, she's daughter to Kamal and Keira up at Paradise Wildlife Park. She's been with us now for quite a few years, and she's a proud mum, and she's passed on some of her best personality traits to her daughter as well. She's incredibly hyperactive. She's incredibly smart. She's very food motivated. She's a very confident and outgoing cat. Very much the polar opposite of her partner Neron in a lot of ways. So for her, just teaching her to calm down a little bit, take everything one step at a time, we're hoping will actually encourage a little bit more of a calmer response from her when things are a little bit exciting.
Absolutely, and on International Zookeeper Day, what better way to showcase the bond between keeper and cat than Keira and Abby here? Why is it so important to build that bond with a cat as a keeper?
So especially when it comes to just day-to-day care, ensuring that they recognise us as a good thing is really important, because it means they're you know, going to be really receptive to taking things from us or working with us, especially in new or maybe slightly more nervous situations. And especially from a training perspective, being on a one-to-one basis, there'll normally be one keeper to one cat. It means that during those slightly more scary times when a vet's involved, when they aren't going to be as comfortable with it, they've got at least one person there that they know, that they trust really well, and that would generally make the whole experience a little bit less scary for them. So building up a really strong relationship with these cats is really important, and training is a fantastic way of doing it.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Abby. And what a
No
fantastic
worries.
showcase on International Zookeeper Day and World Animal Day. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to hand over to Paradise Wildlife Park. If you've enjoyed it, let us know in the comment section below. Without further ado, we'll hand over to Paradise.
Thanks so much, Harry. It is always beautiful to see our stunning jaguars at the Big Cat Sanctuary. And now for World Animal Day, we're going to stick with South American animals, but we're going to go from a South American predator to a South American herbivore. So follow me over this way, because Chloe is joined by our beautiful family of capybaras. So Chloe, who do we have in our family here?
So we have the two parents, we have Manny and we have Coraline, and then we have their 3 babies that were born in summer. So we've got 1 boy and 2 girls.
And what's really cool, we haven't actually named our baby capybaras yet, but we do actually have a naming competition that will be happening. So if you do have any suggestions, drop them in the comments below, and it's something that we can bear in mind. So Chloe, tell us a little bit about what it's like to take care of capybaras at the zoo.
Oh, they're just the most amazing animals to look after. They are so friendly, so sweet, and they have really good personalities. So you can get really nice and close to them, and they make me laugh every day.
And tell us a little bit about their lives in the wild. We know that they are herbivores. Obviously, they do have predators out in the wild, such as jaguars, like we've seen at the Big Cat Sanctuary this morning. But I understand that they're really, really good swimmers, which is something that when you look at them, you may not necessarily automatically assume.
No, they are amazing. They're actually considered semi-aquatic, which means that they spend half their life usually in the water. So they'll go in there for cooling down, playing, and they'll also go in there actually to go to the bathroom.
Nice and tidy, I see, nice and tidy. Now, obviously, they're munching on some bamboo at the moment, but what else makes up their diet?
So yeah, bamboo is actually one of their favourite things, so we'd like to feed it to them. But they do have things as well, like they have a lot of vegetables, they have a special capybara mix as well, and they'll eat pretty much most kinds of greenery that we go and give them out there as well.
Awesome. Now, obviously, as you said, this is the first litter of babies that we've had. How many do they generally tend to have in a litter, and how many can they have throughout their lives?
So this is actually considered quite a small litter, but it is Coraline's first set of babies, but it can have up to 7 babies usually. Wow. So quite a large litter of babies.
And how are they finding being first-time parents?
They've done really well, especially Manny, their father. He's really taken to looking after them and doing his part out there as well. But yeah, so she's done really well considering that it's her first set. She's a fabulous mum.
Awesome. And what are the main personality differences you've noticed between the 3 of them?
So one especially really loves to be cuddled. She'll just come over just to be cuddled, especially. And then 2 others are extremely playful, and you just see them playing all day.
Awesome, that's what we like to hear. Now, even though these guys are a least concerned species on the IUCN Red List, like most South American and Central American animals, there are lots of threats. So can you just explain to us a little bit about what threats are facing capybaras in the wild?
Yeah, so unfortunately with loss of habitat, they are losing a lot of their diet, they are being dispersed so that animals, they can't actually see each other to breed as well, which means that you're getting these tiny pockets of capybaras, so they can't breed as well as they used to, which is the main issue, as well as being hit unfortunately by lorries and cars and things like that as well. So yeah, mainly loss of habitat and loss of food.
Fair enough, fair enough. But what are the main things that people can do to help with capybaras, not just here at the zoo, but also when it comes to supporting conservation for not just capybaras, but all South American species?
So main things that we can do, we can actually just make sure that any sort of food that we have is got sustainable palm oil, or that it is palm oil free. Another thing is, if you are going to buy anything that's got wood in it or paper, that it is sustainably sourced as well or recycled. Really helps with these guys out in the wild.
Awesome. Well, I think that pretty much sums up everything you need to know about our beautiful capybara family that we have here at the zoo. What we're going to do now is actually hand back to the Big Cat Sanctuary, and we're going to go from South and Central American animals to a beautiful Asian animal. So, back over to the BCS team.
Thank you very much, Paradise, and it was great to see the capybaras. We're now back at the Big Cat Sanctuary on World Animal Day and International Zookeeper Day, and we're jumping straight back in the action with Dan and Sahee. If you'd like to turn the camera, Jack, you'll see Dan and Sahee. Dan's doing a little health check on Sahee today. Dan, do you mind sort of talking us through what you're doing?
Yeah, of course. So what we're doing at the moment, just having a nice look at his claws, his paw pads, just bringing him up onto his back legs. See a lot of parts of his underbelly and the parts of him that we won't normally be able to see when he's just lounging around in the middle of the enclosure. So it's very helpful for us, and yeah, it's something we do on a daily basis.
Very nice too. Sahee's one of our newest residents here at the sanctuary, isn't he? Do you mind telling us a little bit about his and Sonika's backstory?
Of course. So these two very gentle souls both joined us from Bristol Zoo. They're both Asiatic lions, and yeah, they're first Asiatic lions we've ever had here at the sanctuary, so it's really, really incredible for us, amazing for us to tell their story and explain a lot about conservation education for them. And yeah, they've only been here for just over 6 months, so new residents for us.
And how was the sort of settling in period? You know, did they come out straight away? Did they get used to the sanctuary quite quickly?
He did. He came over, he was spraying everywhere, scent marking everywhere, set one straight over my shoulder, so I just managed to dive out of the way of that one. She took a little bit longer. Good boy. So she was taking her time getting used to the surroundings. Took about 2 or 3 days to fully come out and explore everything, but definitely helped having him here. She would look for him at times, whereas he was much more confident.
No, lovely. And you know, with Asiatic lions, whereabouts would you find these guys in the wild? There's a clue in the name.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely clue in the name. So you find them in Asia, but they only come from one place in Asia. So they come from the Gir forest in India. In the Gir forest, there's not many of them, unfortunately. There's only about, well, recent estimations can be as low as 350 wild individuals, which is, of course, absolutely nothing. So that's why it's so amazing to have them here. Come on, man.
That's brilliant. And Sonika and Sahee have come to the sanctuary as part of the Project Lion initiative that we're running at the moment, which sees the renovation of our habitats at the Big Cat Sanctuary, as well as bringing Asiatic lions
Hopefully, yeah.
over, which is great. Got Sonika there. So what are the main differences in terms of personality between Sonika and Sahee?
Yeah, they're both quite confident now, to be honest. So they've come out well. Sahee can be a little bit goofy at times, but we love him for it. He's great for hand feeds. He'll always come over for it, which is really good for us. And you can see, really involved in the training. Don't worry about Sonika not having the food. This is just your very stereotypical lion hierarchy. So if he wants it, he comes over. To be fair, we have some pairs of lions here at the sanctuary where the girls are in charge. But in this particular instance, he'll be getting the food and then she'll as well. In terms of the rest of the personality, yeah, they get along really well, lounging around together. You often see them roaring together on top of the platforms, so it works nicely.
They're an established pair, aren't they, Dan?
Yeah,
you know,
definitely,
they've been living together for many years at Bristol Zoo. So the transition between there and the sanctuary was very smooth for them both, and it's nice to have them together. Well, thank you very much, Dan.
No worries, thank you.
And what we're going to do is we're going to hand back now to Paradise Wildlife Park and see their tapirs. Thank you.
Thanks again, Harry. It's always beautiful to see just how stunning Sahee is. Now we're going to go from Asia back to South America because we're joined by 2 of our most charismatic hoofstock animals that we have here at the zoo. Tim and Tamara are beautiful lowland tapirs. So Liam, tell us everything we need to know about lowland tapirs.
So these guys, there are 4 species of tapirs in the world, and these are the second smallest species of tapir in the world, and they're actually the most popular tapir in the world.
No, that's fun. That's awesome. And what are the other species that you find aside from the lowlands?
So you have the mountain tapir, then you have the Baird's tapir, and then you've got the larger species, which are known as the Malayan tapir.
Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing that based on the fact they come from Malaysia, the Malaysians are in Asia, and the rest are all just South American based?
Yes, the others are found all in Central and South America is where you find the other species of tapir.
Awesome. And obviously they're quite funky looking animals. What are tapirs' closest relatives?
So these guys are actually closely related to horses and rhinos. Now it's due to the number of toes they have on their back feet. So these guys actually have 3 toes on their back feet. Horses, equine species, they all have 1. And then you have rhinos as well that also have 3 toes on their back feet as well.
Amazing. Now they're quite unique looking animals, as I said, and they seem to have some pretty unique adaptations. So can you just take us through some of the unique adaptations that tapirs have?
The main one that people most notice is actually that kind of prehensile proboscis nose. Now that nose is used for sort of lots of different things. What they're using it now, as you can see, Tamara is actually shoveling some of that leaves straight into her mouth. Another adaptation that these guys do have is this mantle muscle here that's on their neck. It looks a little bit like a mohawk, and they'll use that as their defense against their predators. Now these guys' main predators are actually jaguars, and as jaguars bite on the back of their neck, that gives them just that little bit more protection and defense against that itself.
It's amazing to see how evolution has literally built up this defence mechanism for them at the back of their neck, isn't it? And again, even though they may not look like it, I understand they're pretty good swimmers.
Yeah, so these guys, again, same as our sort of capybaras that you saw earlier, these guys are actually pretty good semi-aquatic species of mammal. They do spend a lot of time in the water as well, so we've actually got a big nice pool for them to go swimming in. And again, like our capybaras, they actually go to the toilet completely in the water as well, which makes the cleaning a lot easier for me as well.
Unless it comes to cleaning out the pool day.
Yeah, that's a different story. But the rest of the days are quite easy.
I can imagine. Now, tell us a little bit about Tamara and Tim and their personalities.
So, Tim came here when he was just under 2 years old, and he has basically lived most of his life here. He's 22 years old now. He's actually had lots of children here at the park, and Tamara was the last of those babies that he's had. The others have all gone off to other collections to be part of their own breeding programs, but we've kept Tamara around, keep Dad companion, and she's actually 12 years old now.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, tapirs are a vulnerable species on the IUCN Red List. Can you just explain what some of the threats are facing them?
So these guys' main threats that they face out in the wild is actually the deforestation of the Amazon rainforest. That's the threats that most animals out there do face. But other threats that these guys face is actually the illegal logging trade, the building of these big motorways and things like that. These guys are not super sustainable to getting hit by cars and things like that. So those are the main threats. Habitat loss for their food is kind of gone, and those are the main threats that they do face.
And is there anything in particular you think people could do at home just to help tapirs?
Sort of what Chloe mentioned earlier as well is again with palm oil free or sustainable palm oil. But we here at the park, we actually support a charity known as the Lowland Tapir Conservation Initiative, and they support tapirs out in the wild, especially the lowland tapirs. And it's super important, again, work with those guys, and they are helping keep these species of tapirs out in there well and alive and stuff like that.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, obviously, we were feeding them some browse. Can you just talk us to a little bit about their diet?
Yeah, so here at the park we feed them lots of different types of vegetables. Again, the browse is always one of their main things. They do like to eat lots of different types of browses as well. But we also give them lots of vegetables. Things like bananas are probably one of their favourites, I must admit.
Ah, that's awesome. It's good to hear. Now, as you can see, the tapirs have moved on. They've had their browse, and it looks like they're going to head back to bed. So we're going to call it an end there. But thank you so much for joining us and celebrating World Animal Day with us here at Paradise Wildlife Park and also our sister park, the Big Cat Sanctuary. If you want to get involved in any of our conservation work or come and check out the parks, then please visit www.pwpark.com or thebigcatsanctuary.org. And of course, we do also have some events coming up in the not too distant future as well. We're currently filming a new series of One Zoo 3 that will be out next year. On top of that, we also have Zoo Brothers Go Live, which is a live version of One Zoo 3. That'll be happening at the Spotlight Theatre in Hoddesdon on the 25th of October. We're doing 3 shows in one day. And then, of course, either end of the October half term, we do also have our Dinos After Dark events. So again, you can get all of your tickets on our website, so please be sure to go and visit. But thank you very much for joining us on World Animal Day.